felt that there was this unspoken connection between us. And ever since the first time that I saw you when you were holding my favorite Pop-Tart. And the truth is, I'm leaving tomorrow. And if we could go someplace...
Oh, you know what? That is enough. That is enough. God, I haven't even been single for like 5 minutes. And already you think that I am just gonna strip off my clothes and do you right here because I don't know. You imagine that we shared some intimate moment that you have probably been drooling over for the past 4 years. God, you know, how sick and deluded are you? You know what? Why don't you just go off and get yourself a goddamn life, asshole?
Let me tell you something, Badway. There is no going back from that. There's no redemption from get yourself a goddamn life.
If I got owned like that in public, I'd probably just go inside a shell and never come out. Like it'd be over for me.
There's no reconciliation from that. I don't care whether she thought that he was another stalker or not. It's over. Like, I don't care how many pouty, poofy hair looks she gives him at the train station. It's over.
I got one question for Preston. Who's gonna want you now?
Somebody?
Or like nobody.
Nobody. Well, welcome back to the Last Row Podcast. My name is Drew. As always, I'm joined by my co-host and friend, Mr. Badway, across the room.
Kick everyone's ass in this room.
This is episode 60 of the Last Row Podcast. LastRowPodcast.com. Follow us on Twitter at The Last Row Pod, Facebook.com/The Last Row Pod, Google+, Apple Podcasts. Please hit us up with a 5-star review if you're enjoying the show. We're very close to the JCVD split.
Never gonna happen.
We're almost over the hump, and we're also on Google Play Music. If you're looking for us, hit the subscribe button. What's going on, Badway?
I got new sweatpants, so like my split game will be on point.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm wearing jeans right now, and they're definitely gonna get ripped.
Yeah.
They will definitely rip.
Anyway, Can't Hardly Wait, 1998 classic party film.
I couldn't hardly wait to do this movie.
Drama/teen film, as is described.
Don't Google that.
Directed by Harry Elfont and Deborah Kaplan. How do you feel about the dual director?
First off, I didn't fact check that, by the way. I just pulled it off of Google, so it's possible that's not
real.
True.
Unless you're like the Coen, unless you're brothers, like the Wachowski brothers or the Coen brothers, I feel like it's an issue.
Yeah.
It usually doesn't bode well, but in this movie it works out.
What if it's a husband and wife and they just have separate last names?
Yeah, it could be anybody. It could be cousins, it could be friends, lovers.
What about second cousins through marriage?
I mean, some might think it's gross, IMDb 6.5 out of 10.
It's too low.
Rotten Tomato 40%.
Too low.
It's too low. School's out, and an entire graduating class, from football stars to cool girls and complete nerds. Are we done with these buzzwords yet?
No.
Gathers at a wealthy classmate's home for a party. How is she wealthy? It's just a big house. I don't know.
It was a regular house.
Want to help wealthy?
I don't know.
There, the artistic Preston hopes to move in from.
It's just written so poorly.
Hopes to move in on Amanda. Move in.
Move in with her?
Or move. Never mind.
He hopes to move in with her.
I'm gonna go somewhere. I'm gonna go in another direction.
With the letter that he wrote her, he probably might as well have moved in with her.
Move in with.
Oh, I get it.
Dorky Williams schemes to pay back meathead Mike for years of bullying, and would-be kidnapper Kenny would kidnapper. It's over.
It's a joke. We do this podcast at 3 a.m. right now.
Would-be rapper Kenny gets locked in a room with snarky Denise, and my dyslexia is out for the world to see.
Snarky?
Why do you make me read these things? You know I can't read.
That's exactly why I make you read them.
I can't read good, Drew.
So all I did was, I got to tell you, I copied it from, what I do for the listeners at home, I Google the movie title, and there's a synopsis that pops up on the right-hand side of Google. I copy and paste it without looking at it so that Badway has to read it, and I know nothing about it.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
But I think Snarky Denise is the perfect way.
Snarky Denise.
But I think the way that we should tackle this today, since there's obviously no plot to this movie at all, it takes place at the maybe like 6-hour party.
Yeah, 6 to 8 hour party.
6 to 8 hours.
High school graduation.
I think maybe the best way to do this is how we do it the old school way. Let's talk about some of the characters and the people in this. And what better way to start than with the artistic Preston.
The artistic Preston.
So what do you think about Nick Papagiorgio himself?
You know what's funny? I never caught it until this playthrough that he is an art student.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Or
I was
a writer or whatever. I think he's a writer because he says he has
Kurt
a Kurt Vonnegut workshop. That's where he's rushing off to tomorrow, the day after graduation.
It's his hero. But I always thought that when I originally saw this movie 100 times, like I guess I wasn't paying attention that closely.
Yeah.
I always thought that he was going to college the next day. And I thought, that's really stupid. Who goes to college the day after graduation?
Or like he's going to like it because I thought he wasn't going to college. I thought he was going to like a trade school or something, or some kind of like he's going to be a welder or something.
Right,
I don't know.
So you didn't know he was. I mean, they only mentioned it in the beginning, and that's it.
Yeah.
But I guess he's artistic
Who's
in
paying
that
attention?
he's like emo, right?
He's got time to pay attention. You know what he looks like?
Who?
A kindergarten teacher. I don't know why. I could see him as a kindergarten teacher.
He definitely has kind eyes.
Yeah.
But he looks kind of like a baby, doesn't he?
He does
looks
have baby face.
Like baby face.
Not the singer-songwriter.
But I don't know. What do you think of him? How about his acting? Rate his acting a little bit. Like, was he good? Was he good enough?
Papagiorgio?
Yeah.
No, he sucks.
He was bad?
Yeah, I don't think he's in many.
I kind of liked him.
He was all right.
But for the role.
He did all right. Like, he was perfect for the role.
What do you think about the character of Ethan? Ethan Preston.
His name's Ethan Embry.
Ethan Embry, excuse me. Preston. Like, did you buy the fact that he was in love with Amanda?
Oh, absolutely.
AKA Jennifer Love?
He did. I guess for in that aspect, he played the role really well. I did believe almost to a delusional point.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of stalkerish and scary.
That's it. You could, they do the recuts, right? Lee, our friend and listener of the podcast, Lee from the UK, sent us a bunch of awesome like recuts of trailers.
Yeah.
I feel like you could absolutely recut this to a horror movie.
Making like comedies into horror movies and stuff like that.
What's the movie with Mark Wahlberg where he's like the stalker?
Oh,
and he's like after the girl. It's like really weird. He's like a boyfriend or something.
Yeah, it's like Fear. I think it's called
Fear. Yeah, it's a great movie.
Yeah.
That's what this kind of reminds me of. Like you could recut it to that.
Yeah.
But so basically the story is he's in love with Amanda, Jennifer Love Hewitt, and he has to tell her his love. He has to profess his love because his friend said, "You're never going to get another chance. I got to do it now."
Let's wind the clock back. So he first laid eyes on her first day of school, freshman year for her. She's a transfer student coming from another school or whatever. Never spoke a word to her in his life.
Right.
Wrote her a love letter. He knows nothing about her. Only her face. Doesn't know anything about her. She's been dating Mike Dexter this whole time, the school asshole. Like the
jerk.
Football player, bully, shoving kids into lockers, giving people swirlies, wet willies, what have you. She's been dating this kid for 4 years.
Yeah.
So why do you think why would you think she's a nice person if she's associating herself with Mike Dexter the whole time? That's my question.
Well, and we'll talk about her, but I also want to touch on that. Exactly what you said. Like, how do we know she's a nice person? We don't really know much about her at all. We just know she tells him off at the party. That's it.
Yeah.
So, like, he is totally just in love with her based on the idea of who she is.
Yeah.
I am not so sure that it would work out between them.
It's a little creepy, to be honest. And I don't know if he's much better for her than Mike Dexter.
And so basically, Preston shows up at this party with his friend. This girl, the redheaded girl, I can't remember her name. Denise. Excuse me, Denise. So they show up. She seems like she's just doing him a favor by coming to this party with him.
She don't want to be there.
She doesn't really want to be there at all. She's like, and can I use this word? She's a buzzkill, man.
She's a buzzkill. She's a little sarcastic. She thinks she's better.
She's too cool for everybody.
Too cool for school. I don't know, kind of antisocial.
Yeah. And it's fine to not want to be part of a clique and all that stuff, whatever. Yeah. I sensed it a little bit more like the snark and elitism.
Exactly.
She had, right? She was an elitist. Like, I'm too good to be at this stupid party. Why would I come here?
That's the worst part. You know what those types of people are? They are jealous.
Yes.
And so there's a difference between being antisocial and being awkward in large groups. And there's this girl who is like, she's kind of jealous that she's not in the groups, I feel. And now she doesn't say this, but I feel like it's like a subconscious, deep within her soul.
Absolutely.
And what you do is you lash out and you make fun of everyone for everything.
Well, it's like
and that's being a dick.
It's the South Park, like the emo kids. Yeah. You know, when they just hate everybody, conformists.
Yeah, you stupid conformists.
But like, what did you think of her style? Because there was a lot of 90s style in this. Yeah. She did not look like she was part of the 90s style. Like she had the like faux leather jacket, I guess.
Yeah, that
But
kind
like
of counts.
her haircut didn't really look like a 90s haircut. Like she looked like she was a mom haircut.
Yeah,
like she didn't
it's like
really
a mom haircut. I disagree. I feel like some girls were rocking that in the 90s. But again, she wasn't supposed to be this fashion icon. She was
That's
kind
true.
of the anti-establishment. You know what? Long hair. I'm gonna cut it short. Screw you.
Yeah, I
And
guess it's like what's her name
I get it.
from Julia Stiles from 10 Things I Hate About You. She
Yeah.
reminded me of her, but like more stuffy.
Yeah, more stuffy, absolutely, and not very nice. You know.
Yeah, she didn't seem like she was a nice person.
Yeah,
Like,
unless
she
she's
just
nice to
hated
her
everybody.
friend. She's, I guess, her only friend is Preston, really. But she just seems kind of mean. It's the kind of thing where it's like she doesn't seem like she has many friends, but there's a reason for it.
Right. And apparently her and Preston used to date each other too, which
They
is
said
another
for a week.
Yeah.
I guess they'd rather be friends,
Right.
you know?
I mean, so this ultimately leads us to this graduation party. Like they have graduation that day and then there's a party afterwards. And what always struck me, and I guess I'd never, again, to the whole point of not paying attention to this, I've seen this movie like 1,000 times. I never realized like how the party got started.
Yes.
So I guess you told me this just now before we recorded this, like, hey, this party was supposed to be kind of a small thing, kind of like Bogey Lowenstein's
Bogey
party. If
Lowenstein.
you remember our episode on 10 Things I Hate About You,
Great name.
go back and check it out, thelastropodcast.com.
Shameless.
Another shameless plug for a previous episode. But this party grew in size very
Yeah,
quickly.
I don't think this girl was expecting this turnout.
But and I said to you, like, why is it always the trope, I guess, for the movie is the person that's throwing the party can never handle the party. Like they're trying to
Yes.
get things like, don't break this vase that my mom has.
Yeah.
Like your house is getting destroyed if you have this party.
I guess like she just didn't. You don't fully understand how badly people are messing up your house until they're in there messing up
Right.
your house, right?
And what was the cutoff? Like, so originally, how many people do you think were actually invited to
You know,
this
it's
thing?
funny. I bet like maybe max 25. It turns out the whole graduating class shows
And
up.
it was like, but what I thought was impressive about this party is that she said that nobody was allowed upstairs.
Yeah.
And by and large, nobody went
Nobody was
upstairs.
except for
Seth
what's his
Green.
face? Seth Green and this buzzkill girl.
Which would not ever happen in real life at
Yeah.
all. It's like, don't go there. Okay, I'm going there.
and then they were like, "Don't go in the family room. It's roped off. There's a little rope,
Like,
right?"
yeah, it was like the caution tape.
Yeah.
But what did you think of the party in general? Like, did you like
great
it?
bash, great bash. There was nobody swimming though. Like where was this taking place?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I feel like if you have a pool in your backyard like that and it's open, it's like it's got to be on the West Coast. I'm thinking it's California.
it's
Right.
usually California, but part of me thought like maybe it was like a suburb of Chicago or
I
something.
don't know. It's
'cause
got to be the summer because it's June. They graduated.
That's true.
There's nobody swimming, man. You gotta
Yeah.
be swimming in that pool.
You got to get in the pool. It,
Yeah,
it was
I'm a pool
it
guy. I'm a
seemed
pool
like
guy.
a good day
So,
for that. Was a great pool too.
Yeah.
The only thing that went swimming was the yearbook.
And they seem to be well to do as the description told us. So there's got to be a pool heater there.
Yeah, it's
Just get in
heated.
the pool, man. Get in the pool.
So speaking of pools and all this stuff, what I don't know is, why would you go to this party if you're just going to make out the whole time on the steps or
You don't
on the floor?
you don't go there with the intention of making out.
It just
It
happens.
just happens, man. You get a few drinks
But
in
it's
you.
like, don't you just leave? Go somewhere else.
No, man, because it's like there's a point where it's like you don't want to just like. I'm trying to clean it up here.
Yeah, you're cleaning it up. We're way
You
in
just
the gutter
want to
already.
make out, man. You don't
Yeah.
you don't have to go having sex. You don't have to go. If you want to go have sex, you go to the closet. But it's like you're
Or
on
you
the
go
couch,
upstairs.
do a little make out. It's like the mood hits you. Maybe it's not your girlfriend. Maybe it's not your boyfriend. It's just like two people. It's like magnets, man. It's like magnets.
But I guess the point was like nobody was allowed upstairs, so they couldn't go have sex because you can't have sex on the floor. In front
they
of
didn't
everybody.
show it on camera.
But it was implied?
There were kids in those bedrooms.
Is this
Drew.
PG-13?
Yes, it is.
It is.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if it was rated R because they dropped a lot of F bombs in here and not the FU bombs. If you know what I'm talking about.
I don't think they did. There was one.
No, I'm talking about the other F bombs,
Oh.
not the other word.
Ah,
Yeah, it's like they definitely used cursing in the movie.
that unfortunately that wasn't as big of a curse word back
That's
then.
true.
as it
Yeah,
is now,
at that
so,
time,
yeah.
you couldn't really say that,
Yeah.
or you can't say it now in a movie
Yeah.
as much. Like it would make it
yeah,
rated R.
homophobic remarks,
Right? But they dropped a lot of that in
Yeah, but
this.
that's like PG-13 fare back in the 90s. Unfortunately,
That's true. That's true. But I don't know. I just thought overall the party looked pretty fun. Like it looked like a place. It wasn't getting too rowdy, you know. Like it wasn't
PG-13. Exactly. It seemed like a nice place to be, right?
Because like you look at some of these others, and we talked about this in another episode. Like there's like utter and complete destruction of homes in some of these parties.
Sure, and it seemed like, you know. So the geek William shows up and he has his grand plan. We'll talk about him in a little bit. So he shows up. He wants a beer. They kind of give him a hard time about it, but they give it to him. Like no one's really punking out the geek except for Mike Dexter. So it's like, it seems like an inclusive party, even if you weren't invited or even if like, you know, you weren't hanging out with people. It seems very, very inclusive. It's kind of like it's a nice graduation party. It seems as everyone's getting along. So.
Yeah. And you know, they had live entertainment. The band was there. Like, I don't know what was going on with that. But let's talk about Jennifer Love Hewitt real quick. We kind of touched on her a little bit. Would she date Dexter? Like she showed up. I don't know her much, but based on what you saw of her, like, do you think that they were a good match?
No.
She kind of says later in the movie, like, I only stayed with him because I never had a boyfriend before. Like I was afraid to be alone. I'm not buying that.
Please.
That's a joke.
You're freaking 15 years old. You're afraid to be alone.
Yeah, it's like, it's so stupid.
Stop it. Look, she was attractive. She was attractive when she was in freshman year, which they didn't really show her face in the classroom. But, you know, obviously if she looks the way she did now, which was probably accurate. If you wanted to become cool and I guess the captain of the football team shows interest in you, then I guess you can go ahead and date him. That's fine. You know.
She didn't know him, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, but she found out real quick, I'm sure, that he was a jerk.
Yeah.
You could date him for a year or so and then break up with him and still have your friends. Like it's like a jumping off point.
Right.
But to stay with him for 4 years, it makes you like implicit to all of his dickheadedness.
I agree. You are implied. You are implied.
You are implicated in his swirlies.
You're
his
implicated.
Locker shoving.
Right. And it's like a whole like, oh, well, that's just Mike Dexter. Like, no, you're
that's my boyfriend.
with him.
And if you can't change him, if he's going to be that way, then, you know, if he's going to be picking on the nerds all day, then you're that person too.
Yeah.
So I guess she was.
Do you think that she also felt like she was too good for the other girlfriends of Mike Dexter's clique?
Yeah.
Because they seemed kind of airheadish.
Let me tell you, I'm going to use this word. She's a phony.
She kind of is a phony.
She's a phony because she didn't like her friends. She was like, thought she was better, like you said. It came across very obviously when she was talking to them. She didn't like her boyfriend. She was probably disgusted by him, but she couldn't go away. Why don't you just be your own person? Break up with her. Date a guy like Preston. You don't have to be in the clique. You don't have to be in the popular kids, right?
But I mean,
it's her life she chose.
Be your own person too. Like that's
why don't you become friends? Like why would you like waste 4 years of your life being friends with people you don't like?
Yeah, a wise man once said, "Be yourself." That's what's really cool.
What's really cool.
You know, but I got the impression too that she was a phony, and the whole like thing of Preston being obsessed with her. Upon my 1001 rewatch of it, I was kind of like annoyed by her. I was like, "Who is she? Who cares?"
Yeah, because it's the saddest form of phony too, because like she's only hurting herself.
Right.
She's like she's probably miserable all the time, hating everyone who's around her, going to the basketball games, and like I'm thinking of what's that movie with
Drive Me Crazy? Yeah, with Vinny Chase.
Oh yeah, Vinny Chase. Go to the basketball games like with the cool kids. You kind of hate what they're doing, but you're going along with it.
He loved it then. By the end,
yeah. But 4 years of that, it's like a prison sentence. Just break up with a guy, you get new friends.
Well, especially him because I mean, not to talk about like IQs or anything, but he seems like a complete dumbass. Like he's an idiot.
And she could use her cool points, her equity that you gained.
She built it up.
Yeah, because she could distance herself from all those ugly people, ugly personality people, and be friends with anyone. Right? She could probably sit at any lunch table in the cafeteria, and like people are like, "Oh my god, Amanda's talking to me."
Well, the whole thing, right? So the movie starts and like let's talk about Dexter, right? So this brings us into it, right? He breaks up with her. And he goes to his friends and is like, I'm going to get so many girls at college.
Many girls.
So he breaks up with her the day of graduation. Like, now, I'm not saying I would do this, but if you were him, wouldn't you stay in the relationship over the summer?
Yeah.
And then break up with her?
Yeah, be with her all summer and then dump her before you go to college.
He didn't go to college yet. So he's like, I'm going to get all these college girls in 3 months.
It's like quitting your job when you have a new job coming up in 3 months.
Yeah,
and then you don't get paid that whole time.
You don't get paid. It's a perfect analogy. And it makes no sense.
Why don't you get paid the whole time and then, quit, put your 2 weeks in. He could have put his 2 weeks notice in on their relationship
Right.
in the middle of August.
That's what I mean.
She could have went to Pearl Jam.
Right. He could have went with them.
Went to Pearl Jam. That's tickets.
So the Pearl Jam concert is something comes up. His friends, he's got 2 other friends as part of his clique, and they have girlfriends too. And they make this pact at some like drive-in, like Sonic or something. It's like basically Sonic, right? They're outside, and he's like, "You guys got to do this too." And they're like, "Yeah, we're in, man. We're in.
Man.
We'll
Good
all
idea.
do it. Great idea. You're so
idea, Mike."
smart." And then when push comes to shove, nobody actually follows through. So he breaks up with her. And I just feel like it's such a weird thing because people automatically want to get with her. It's like there was no waiting period at all. It's like, oh my God, can you believe
She's back on
that
the
they
market.
broke up? And that's
Yeah.
where Preston, we mentioned it earlier,
Well,
he's got to profess
I mean,
his
let's
love.
not kid ourselves here. She's probably like the hottest girl in school.
I mean,
she's
she's beautiful.
She's obviously kind of a sweetheart, even if she
Yeah.
was like hanging around with undesirables.
Right.
I mean, she's got a kind heart and she's very attractive. So it's kind of like, whoa,
Yeah.
she's available.
I mean, I
Everyone's drunk at the party. They all think they can get with her.
kind of destroyed her a few minutes ago. Like, I didn't.
You gonna backtrack now?
I'm not backtracking, but
Yeah.
I'm saying they didn't show us anything
Right.
of her being nice.
Yeah.
But she probably was a
No,
nice person.
make no mistake. When I call her a phony, I'm not saying she's a bad person.
Yeah.
She's kind of like she did this to herself. She imprisoned herself.
Why did
she
I
can tell she's a sweetheart?
Yeah. Why do I feel bad about tearing down like a fake person?
No, because she's a sweetheart. It's Jennifer Love Hewitt.
I'm like,
an American
man, I kind of feel
sweetheart.
bad saying all that bad stuff
Yeah.
about her. It's like, she is Jennifer Love Hewitt.
And
She
there
is
you
a
are,
great
your
sweetheart.
hero, Mike Dexter, is running around. Let's talk about Dexter more so before we move on.
Yeah.
Is he like the greatest bully of all time
He
or what?
is.
Like, honestly.
He's up there with the dude from Encino Man.
yeah. Oh,
like,
yeah.
he is great.
Sharsh.
That guy's awesome.
Yeah.
But Dexter is so good because he thinks he's smart, but he's actually a complete dumbass.
Oh, yeah.
He's a dumb idiot. And he's a jock, right? So he's got the jock thing going for him. He's got the good looks, right? He's like, hot
Thinks
guy.
he's God's gift to women.
He
all
thinks
that
he's
stuff,
God's gift
yeah.
to women. He thinks he's the smartest guy ever, but he's so dumb.
Yeah.
Like he thinks this is a great plan, but it's actually the dumbest plan. He,
Yeah.
like you said, he should have put his 2 weeks notice
The
in later.
literal beating up of nerds is like, it's
He's like bashing nerds.
yeah, he's a nerd basher. Yeah.
And you said it before as a joke, but he would be the type of guy to be given swirlies and wet willies and noogies.
yeah, because he's a dumbass, right?
Like he's
Yeah.
not the kind of guy to actually like kick your ass and beat you into
Right.
submission.
He's not going to pound you.
Right.
Yeah.
He's the kind of guy that will put your head in a toilet
Yeah.
and flush it.
Yeah.
Like that kind of beating.
He'll like break your glasses. He'll,
Yeah.
he'll step on your calculator.
Like I just like my favorite thing is, and when we put the announcement for the movie on the Facebook post, like I put they can't hardly wait geeks
Yeah.
because that's like his insult is so like PG
Yeah,
that
man.
it's hilarious.
And it's like he kind of gets exposed in the party as the night goes on about he's not as hot as he thinks he is. He's not as cool because he starts hitting on girls and he realizes the girls like he's been saying nasty shit about them forever. And they're like, "No, hey, I'm available, ladies. What do you want to let's get with me?" And they're like, "No, screw you, suck." And then he meets like his future self in Trip McNeely, aka Jerry O'Connell.
Best cameo of any like 90s teen movie.
That's a top 5 name, by the way.
Trip
Character
McNeely,
name, Trip McNeely.
the legend.
Yeah.
The legend Trip McNeely.
You used to pull so much tail in high school. You're legend.
He's like, I can't even get a number in college, man.
Can't even get digits.
It was really funny the way that they wrote
Yeah.
Jerry O'Connell in there. It was perfect.
So it's like he sees his future self. It's like all bad. Goes back into the party. Tries to get back with Amanda. This speech where it's like he pours his heart out, but it's like all wrong because he's an idiot. Where he basically is trying to manipulate her and like guilt her and like saying, "Hey man, why would you not take me back? I'm Mike Dexter." Like he pulls the "Do you know who I am?" card basically. And everyone in the room, like the party goes silent. And everybody's watching it because it's like the event of the season. It's like
Yeah.
it's like the best show on earth.
Yeah.
And like they all see that he's a joke. They make fun of him. Everybody's laughing at him when she finally puts the hammer on him and dumps him. And it's the total comeuppance. And any plan that the geeks had to, embarrass him, the
Yeah.
grand scheme of making him do gay stuff, I guess was their plan.
That was the plan.
Yeah. And like nothing could have compared to him in the middle of that room just being embarrassed, everyone laughing at him, making fun of him.
I want to talk a little bit about the geeks. It's kind of out of order what we wanted to talk about.
Go for
but
it.
It's
Go for
a
the
good
geeks.
time, I
Go for
think.
the geeks.
So there's this geek, the guy from Hook, The kid from Hook.
Kid from Hook.
I don't even know the kid's name. William Licker.
I don't know, but he's a
Lichter.
perfect geek. He looks like.
But he was perfectly cast, and he's probably like the best part of the whole movie. I think of all of the characters.
Yeah.
But his plan is he's been basically punked and bashed by Mike Dexter. He was valedictorian. Guy ruined his speech. Like, I don't know. He did all of this mean stuff to him.
Yeah.
So him and his friends, two X-Files like super fans, come up with this plan. Hey, we're going to take Mike Dexter. We're going to get him like passed out with chloroform, which is a crime. And let's get him and his friends and make them look like they were doing some type of act together.
Yeah. Side note, the best chloroform scene of all time is Ace Ventura.
Yeah.
When he's running on the track with the dolphin player.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Every time I think of chloroform, I think of that scene.
It's like, so they made chloroform like in chemistry class, and they're gonna drug these guys and then make them look like they're making out together or something with pictures.
Oh, it'd be like two dudes kissing. It'd be hilarious.
It's like, oh, it'd be the funniest thing ever. It's so dumb. Like that'll punk their life.
Yeah, but that's like a total like 90s thing where it's
is.
like, oh man, like you think about the typical jock and make him seem gay. It's like the ultimate like
because they're
he's
so
like
masculine,
he's so scared
right?
of it. It's like it's gonna be the best way to get back at him.
Yeah, it's like it's so stupid looking at it now, but
Yeah.
like you're right. It's a definitely like
And you would think he's a smart guy, you think of something better. I don't know.
right. Like, they should like erase his bank account
Yeah,
or something.
exactly.
Like, can't they like hack his bank account or like maybe Photoshop a picture? Like
I
they
don't
can
know,
just
like
do that.
ruin his car or something. I don't know.
Like egg his car.
Yeah.
I don't know. Something like that. But yeah, so these geeks come up with this plan. They're waiting on the roof the whole time, which is another like kind of funny interaction, which is also another great part of the movie, just the interaction between those
Like
guys.
the lackeys, the two geek lackeys.
But William joins the party. And like the best line, I hate to be the guy that says, oh, remember when this happened? Remember when that happened?
No, go ahead.
But we got to talk about it. Like when they go to the party, and what does the kid say? Like, do you think it's going to be crazy in there? He says,
Do you think there'll be girls there?
it's like, yeah, people might even be having sex in there. He says it with like such conviction.
Oh, God.
It was so funny.
I gotta tell you, I hated those guys.
I liked them.
They were like too geeky for me.
I loved them.
Way too geeky.
They were so funny.
like there was like a parody of geeks.
I loved
The
them.
geekiest geeks in the entire history of teen movies.
It was so funny.
Yeah.
But they were great. But William shows up to the party. I want to talk a little bit about him first, because he obviously has no business being at this party. He gets a beer.
Fish
he
out of
thinks
water.
It's like skunked.
I'll tell you what, though, he's more in place at that party than Denise, Preston's friend.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. And I like the dynamic of him being the fish out of water. He's at the party. Like no one, actually, he was like the one guy that girl wanted to like turn away.
Yeah.
Shows up at the thing. She's like, why are you here? Like,
Right.
And he's there. He starts getting beers from people. Now, let me tell you, man, if you've never had a beer in your life and you're doing like keg stands, like there's no way he's going to be lip syncing Paradise City on the stage in the middle of a party. Like he's going to be passed out of the
true.
corner.
He had the card that shows you exactly how many beers
Yeah, I
you
know,
can
right?
have, right? Which he kind of lost after like
lost
the
it.
first beer because he was blasted. There's a point, Drew, when you drink so much that you kind of like get possessed.
Yeah.
And it's not, and it's like, it's a form of blacking out, but it's like you're not
You're not
passed
in
out.
control of your own body.
Yeah, you're not passed out.
The alcohol is
I feel
controlling
like
you.
it's Always Sunny in Philadelphia labeled as a brown out almost. It's like a brown out. in a
That
way.
is the perfect way to put
Yeah.
it.
It's not a blackout, it's a brown out. And he probably got browned out.
But he winds up befriending Dexter during the movie. And yeah, go ahead.
I'm just saying, in addition to that, we don't see him like doing shots.
That's true.
So I don't know if Liquor was at this party. They don't show it. And there's a reason why. I'll tell you later. I found some nuggets about this movie that we could talk about. But if he's just having beers, like you can get away with this.
Yeah.
Easier way to the brown out, just having beers.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But he becomes sort of friends with Dexter after Dexter's all depressed and passed out, and they're bonding.
They kind of like, you know what? We're not so different, you and I, and that kind of thing, in an odd couple kind of way.
Yeah. What do you think about that? Because that's why I want to skip to him real quick, because I want to talk to you about Dexter and his relationship. Like, is Dexter really that bad? Maybe is he putting an act on a little bit?
No, he's that bad. I don't
He
see any
is?
redeeming qualities. It took him to get
Browned out.
like blasted drunk and embarrassed by his ex-girlfriend, put in his place multiple times throughout the party. His friends ditching him because he realizes that he screwed up and like they actually have a head on their shoulders when it comes to their lives, and he doesn't. It's in that moment of clarity that I realized that he screwed up.
Yeah.
And that one moment doesn't excuse you being a jerk. And when we flash forward to the next day at the diner where he punks the geek out again, that shows you that there's no growth.
But he hooked him up after the jail scene too, if you remember, right? So he basically gave him the excuse.
Yeah, it's the one-time deal kind of thing.
It's like, just this one time.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it was the alcohol.
And it's also possible because the geeks ended up jumping him, if you remember. They jumped him and they got him with the gay pictures and all that. Maybe it was his way of doing, hey, I'm going to get you out of this for free. Don't tell anyone.
Yeah, like
maybe it was him trying to cover
pictures.
his own ass.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Like, hey, I'll hook you up.
We don't know his intentions. I don't think he learned anything, and I think that he really is that bad of a guy. There are no redeeming qualities. That's why he's so high on the bully scale of all movies, because I don't see the redeeming qualities.
So would you rather, I'll give you a choice. Would you rather talk about Love Burger next, or would you rather talk about Sex Green? Seth Green.
Sex Green?
Sex Green.
I want to talk about Sex Green.
No,
let's talk about Love Burger, because, one of the iconic scenes is the geek William doing a karaoke version of
Geek?
Of what is it?
Paradise City.
Paradise City,
yeah.
Which is playing because the band just can't get their shit together.
Who was playing the music? Did somebody hook up like a tape recorder
the kid
or something?
was just weird, playing a boombox. It was like, no, it's awful that would sound.
Yeah, and like he was, the way that he was lip syncing this, it was like it was on the most banging ass system of all time. And
well, it was your stereo system coming out of your speakers, but no, it was probably a little boombox. But anyway, the reason why we're doing this is because the band just couldn't get on the same page. They tried multiple times to start a song, and they just imploded before our eyes. So what do you think about Love Burger? What do you think their deal is?
I question whether they even had a song to play.
Can they play their instruments?
I question whether they even had a song to play.
I love like you could tell like the infighting. I love the infighting. The one dude looked like White Prince. He said Donald Faison called Breckenmeyer White Prince.
Yeah, he did.
And then Breckenmeyer called Faison Hootie. It was great.
And he took out the cowboy hat.
Cowboy hat,
predicting Hootie would go into country music there too.
So what kind of music do you think they play?
I think they were probably like a Hootie and the Blowfish type band.
I don't know. I feel like it's kind of like a Killer's thing, just based on the way that the idiot is dressed. Breckenmeyer is dressed.
But he may want to be that, but maybe the other band hated the way he was dressed.
I could see like an alt rock. If they're not like a punk band, I feel like they're like an alt rock, maybe a Jimmy Eat World type of situation.
See, I was wondering if it was like the scenario in Boy Meets World where Corey Matthews and Sean decide they want to pull girls, pull some chicks.
Let's say we're in a band.
So they pretend they're in a band and they wind up having to do a gig and they can't play.
They had sweet T-shirts though. I would take one of those sweet.
So let me ask you,
what if they probably sell those? I would buy one of those.
The guy puts the shirt on, and that starts everything. Yeah. Like you can't wear the shirt.
You can't wear the shirt.
What is the etiquette if you're a band? Can you wear your own shirt?
I have strong thoughts on this, Drew. So if you're like Metallica, right? You can't wear a Metallica shirt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're name a popular band,
I don't know.
Just
can't think of any. It's like 3 a.m.
There's like 100 bands. I don't know. There's only 100 bands
name
out there.
Any band.
Anyway, if you're a band that's coming up, if you're a local band, you can wear your own shirt.
You should wear it.
But only one member of the band, preferably the bassist,
he was
can
the
wear
bassist,
the shirt.
Right?
I believe he was the bassist.
And it's like he said it's a good way to show.
Or rhythm
people.
guitar.
It's a rhythm guitar. Yeah. It's a good way to show, hey, we can buy
these
shirt.
Are on sale.
Yeah.
You guys check us out.
So did Breckenmeyer wanted to just like hang it behind the screen or something? Like on the window? Like, hey, just hang it up?
Maybe they should if they didn't hang it, or like in front of the drum kit or something.
They could have a merch table, you know?
But like he's being all elitist, but they have no, like obviously the four of them are dressed completely differently. So they have no like cohesion with their outfits. So I don't know what his big deal was anyway with who's wearing the shirt. Thinks it's tacky.
What about like, don't wrestlers wear their own shirt?
Yes, because they're trying to sell their merch.
Right, so that's what this guy was trying to do, but they're popular.
I
that's
never
like
thought
Metallica.
It was kind of funny, like Stone Cold comes out in a Stone Cold shirt. Hey, it's me, I'm Stone Cold.
Like, or John Cena, he's got the shirt.
Yeah,
right?
John Cena literally has a face of himself on his shirt.
Or like, remember
Can you imagine that? Can I get a shirt of myself?
Remember when The Rock would have his shirt and he was so jacked that he would basically cut it into like a bib?
Yeah, it was a little bib.
It was like it had no sides.
Yeah.
It didn't even have the bottom. Like it was basically like a front cape and a back cape.
It's like a name tag. You got Brock Lesnar and a little thing in the front. It's like, hey, I'm Brock Lesnar. If you guys don't forget.
It's for the new fans, you know. Just so you know, this guy's The Rock and Brock Lesnar, and you can buy that shirt online.
No, but it's like I think it's like a thing. Like they wear their own shirts on the TV show.
They do,
and then they don't wear the shirts like for the entrance music on the pay per view because it's like oh, we're here the pay per view.
They got to sell it. So what about wearing a band shirt? Let's say you were a fan of Love Burger and you wore the shirt. Can you wear the shirt to the concert of Love Burger?
You could wear. See, there's different degrees. If you didn't pay if you didn't pay for the concert, like this is like a promotional
Yeah.
thing going on right here. If Love Burger's playing at this party and everybody's having a great time and you want one of those shirts, you can wear it, right?
Yeah.
But if you're at a concert and you buy a t-shirt of the band, you probably shouldn't wear it. That's my opinion. Or you shouldn't come to the show with a shirt of the band on. If you want to support the band and buy the t-shirt at the merch table at the concert you're at, then you can wear it. It's fine.
So you don't put it like over your shoulder.
Right. I wouldn't do that. I probably would.
You put it over your shoulder?
I probably won't wear it just because like you get hot at a concert, you don't want layers.
Yeah, you gotta have another
layers,
shirt
right?
on. You have to go to the
Right.
shirt.
But I think it's bull. Like if say we're fans of the band Thrice,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
If anybody doesn't know who Thrice is, go check them out. They're awesome. If I go to the show with a 10-year-old Thrice shirt,
yeah.
it's kind of bull because I should be supporting them and buy a new shirt of theirs.
But
'cause I'm
what
at the
if
show.
you wear the old show to say the old shirt like, hey, I've been a fan
I've
of
been a
you
fan
this
of
long.
since. That's like that's like a stupid thing to brag about. I feel that's like YouTube comments to me.
You wear, you
I don't
wear
know.
the,
Do you agree
wear
or
the
disagree?
shirt.
I don't know. Maybe I'm alone here.
I'm not sure. I want to know what everybody else thinks. Write in the last
Yeah.
row podcast at gmail.com.
No, but you should buy when you go to a new show. Don't wear an old shirt of the band. Buy a new shirt to support the band, especially a band that's not freaking Metallica.
What if you wear the shirt of the opening band?
That's fine too.
Because you're supporting the
But
unknown.
but you got to buy the shirt. Don't come with the shirt. Buy a new shirt.
So
But Love Burger, go ahead, put the shirts on. You're there at the party.
I'm gonna buy you a Love Burger shirt for your birthday.
I would wear it. I would totally wear it.
I definitely will do that. Before we move on from the band, I have one question.
Yeah.
How old was Breckenmeyer in this movie?
I feel like that's a question that every Breckenmeyer movie we have to ask.
He's back, a friend and patron saint of the podcast, Breckenmeyer. How old is he in this movie?
He's in like every one of these teen movies that we do.
Yeah.
But
By the
I
time
don't know.
he's
He
on
looks
road
like he's
trip.
like 32, right?
I looked it up.
Yeah.
He was 24.
24. Okay, that's pretty young.
It's still younger than the guy from Walking
Yeah.
Dead playing, a hockey player in prep school.
I'll tell you what, though, early 20s is acceptable for a teen movie, a high school movie, because you obviously can't be under 17, right?
Yeah.
And like usually most 18-year-old actors suck. So
That's-
if you want to
that's
have a
true.
good movie, you got to have somebody with a little bit of seasoning on it.
So what's too old then? 30?
Depends on the face. Like Seth Green's probably 37 in this movie,
I
right?
actually didn't think to
So-
look that up, actually. Yeah,
it
he's-
depends on how little you are, I guess, But
What about Jamie Presley?
Jamie Presley, I feel like this is my theory of Jamie Presley. She always looks 35.
See, to me,
No matter what movie she's in.
she reverse aged
Yes.
to me. She looks younger now than she did back then.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. It makes sense. Like she's like what? She's probably in her 40s now, right?
Yeah.
So she still looks 35 to me. Whereas she's 22, I think.
21 in this movie.
21 in this movie. She looks 35 in this movie.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. In 98, she looked 35. And in 2017, she looks 35. It's a marvel.
So one last thing about Love Burger. I still stand by the fact that I think they didn't know how to play anything.
They just
They didn't know how to play anything.
They just show up and act like they're going to play.
They're actually glad. They're lucky they broke up
Yeah.
because it avoided a disaster
Yeah.
of them looking like fools in front of everybody.
Yeah, it could have been a manufactured fight. Say, hey, man, we got nothing. We didn't rehearse. We're up against it here.
Yeah, right. So
The DJ's playing some pretty good tunes, so let's just back up.
speaking of 47-year-old Seth Green, Sex Green.
Sex Green.
Let's talk a little bit about him because, first off, staple of the 90s, Seth Green. Style.
Oh,
What's
yeah.
up with this?
Oh, man. What,
Did you dress like this?
He's got the Bugs goggles on,
Did
man.
you have Jinko jeans, by the way?
Absolutely
did you
not.
dress with goggles?
I had baggy carpenter jeans, Drew.
Did you hang a hammer from it?
Absolutely not. But they were never so baggy that I tripped over them when I was walking.
Yeah.
It was more of like a loose jean.
I don't know about this, man.
I didn't have obviously it wasn't the style back in the late 90s, early 2000s, but they were baggy enough, but I wasn't tripping over them.
I knew
Right.
many a people, many a folks
Yeah.
that wore that upside down visor
Oh my God.
Backwards?
It's awful.
with the hair spiked out.
You know what the worst thing was the dude that had the chain with
With the lock?
with the bike lock.
The locker lock.
Yeah, the locker lock. Like, what is
Why?
that, man? What is that?
I didn't that's definitely a style that existed in the 90s.
Yeah.
And I know they were making fun of it.
I think John Cena wore one of those.
He
too.
used to, yeah. Didn't he have a clock too? Like
Yeah, because he
Flavor
used to be a
Flav?
rapper. He used to be a rapper,
Yes.
you know?
But that was like what they were emulating, right? They were emulating like the rapper style because
Yeah.
they were talking about all that stuff.
Yeah.
They tried to talk like rappers and
They
all
actually
that
drop an
stuff.
N-bomb.
Yeah,
and
which
they get
was
beat up for
immediately
it.
beat up for us. They
Yeah.
should have been.
Yeah.
But it was kind of like interesting. But Seth Green is obviously a poser. in this role.
Sure. Yeah, he doesn't know who he is.
He doesn't know who he is.
No clue who he is.
You know, they roll up. He's got this stupid way he's talking and all the stuff he's talking about. He's going to hook up. He has a sex kit.
It's my favorite character in the movie.
He rolls up to the party with like a sex book bag.
Sex book bag.
You know,
you
like
get arrested for having a bag like that, man.
Backpack.
It's too much sex in that bag.
Like if you got pulled over
Yeah.
and they're like, "Excuse me, sir, I'm going to look in this bag," they're going to think you're going to go assault somebody.
You're a freak, man.
Like he had. Do you know what he had in there? He had a Kama Sutra book.
Yeah.
He had a pink candle that he immediately got made fun of.
So he's looking to have sex for the first time. He's going to get with the girls. Like, hold on, babe. Wait a second. Let me look at this book real quick.
No, he went upstairs to practice by himself.
He did.
Which he wasn't allowed upstairs.
Why is it, that's like cramming for a test, man. You're not going to learn anything in the last five minutes that you're not going to know. He should have been studying for this for years, man.
He should have. Read about it earlier.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
He's cramming. And he'd have to cram.
And I just don't get it, man. I just don't get it. So he's got that. He has like 5,000 condoms. He has.
I got a double bag it. I don't know where this girl been.
Yeah, double bag it. That's the best.
The best line. I know we say the best line in this movie. There's tons of best lines. And where he's talking to himself when he's ready to go to the bathroom to like get ready.
Yeah.
He goes, "Should I put my Jimmy hat on now?" No, it ain't gonna work. Like it his actual thought in his head.
Yeah. I don't know why I always associate Seth Green with this character because like to me this is how he is. This and the Entourage version of himself.
Yeah.
Where he's like just a jerk.
Tell Sloan I said what up.
What up? What up, Sloan? But he's got this sex kit. He goes upstairs and he's practicing like all these positions. Like you said, he's cramming for a test.
Yeah.
Perfect example.
Yeah.
And he gets stuck in the bathroom with the buzzkill
With Denise.
chick. Denise, it's like the worst possible scenario.
Yeah, man. Couldn't be opposite people.
But couldn't they do something? Like I know the door handle broke, and I know it's a movie.
Yeah.
But can't you? There's a way to open the door. Can't you just like pull it? There's like something somewhere.
I don't know, man.
If you got locked in the room, could you get out?
I'd probably break the door.
You could break,
especially
that
if it
door.
wasn't my house and I didn't care about the person.
Yeah.
I take that back. I wouldn't break the door. I'm too nice.
You could, but you could do it. Maybe
I
put it
could.
back
I probably
on.
wouldn't.
But I don't know. What do you think of their dynamic? Because long story short, they wound up hooking up.
Yeah, because they were old friends. They were like middle school friends.
Yeah.
And they kind of like separated because Seth Green got too cool for school, started taking on this like thug personality.
Yeah.
Or took on like maybe he went like from something else to the rapper personality. You know what I mean? He's kind of like a chameleon, right?
Yeah.
And she's like the opposite of that. She's like a anti-phony, right?
Yeah.
She's like she keeps it real like to the fullest. So you know, they kind of had that back and forth where like they kind of got to know each other again. Inevitable happens. She's lonely. He's looking to hook up. They forgot that they were actually really good friends in the past. You know, things happen. It's kind of like, you know, you get stuck together. It's like things happen.
What did you think of their relationship? Did you like it? I thought it was weird. I didn't like it.
Yeah, I think it made sense, especially since high school's over. Like for them to like continue a relationship going forward. Like they ended up having sex. They hooked up. She's kind of embarrassed about it. He's like, you know, he kind of like didn't know how to handle it, so he insulted her and then he apologized. I feel like they're good together because I feel like he is going to like start to learn who he is by being with her.
Yeah, and maybe she'll loosen up a little bit.
And she'll
because
loosen
he's
up a
such
little bit.
goof.
She'll loosen up and learn to like kind of like
Not take things so
accept
seriously.
people, not take things so seriously. Exactly.
Yeah.
Get herself out of her shell.
So he was probably definitely my favorite character, I think.
Yeah, he was fun. It was
Of
he
the
was like
movie.
obviously it's a comedy, but it's like he was the most comedic relief of all the comedy relief of this movie.
So there's a couple other characters here. I just talk a little bit about Melissa Joan Hart in passing. What do you think about her
So
as a
annoying.
yearbook girl?
Unnecessary, but I guess it's a way to like tie in scenes.
Yeah.
But
She was kind of like the glue between the scenes.
yeah, I guess so.
And I don't know, was she big at that time? Or like was Sabrina the Teenage Witch starting at that time?
No, I think it was ending actually.
Was it ending?
Yeah,
Okay,
so I
so-
think she was kind of just doing.
So she was
She
popular.
was just held the fringes of,
What
of our
about
conscious.
the prostitute at the excuse me, the stripper.
The stripper.
Not the prostitute.
Well, who knows what
The
she does?
stripper
If you
at
give her
the-
more money, I don't know. Yeah.
Because this kind of ties us into the movie, right? Preston puts this letter out. Melissa Joan Hart, Jennifer Love Hewitt gets broken up. We talked about her and Dexter. This whole thing comes to a head. Everyone immediately starts hitting on her. She's like, I've been single for 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And Preston is off doing this thing. He's trying to call Barry Manilow because he heard the song Mandy.
Yeah, and he wants to verify whether or not the song was written for a dog or not.
Right. So what do you think of this? Like this woman rolls up. He's trying to make a phone call.
Yeah,
And she just hangs up on him.
Payphone, no less, because there's no cell phones.
I mean, I get it. She was stranded, but come on now.
He could have given her a ride.
He should have.
Yeah.
He had a car. Why didn't he drive her? And they
So,
could
yeah.
have got advice.
So she hung up on his call when he finally got through to the radio station to call Barry Manilow. So total violation?
absolute violation.
Yeah.
He had 25 cents. The thing expires. It's going to hang up eventually.
Well, the thing is, he was trying to get through, and like you get through a radio station is like 1 in a million shot, right?
Right.
He'll never get through again.
Did he have a page, a pocket full of change? Like you only have one quarter that the thing expires.
So there's two sides to this. So a total violation that she hung up on him. Like people will fight you over that. Like there will be fisticuffs over things like that, right?
Yeah.
But on the other side, he's kind of at a life crisis there. Like he was kind of like at that point in the movie, he hadn't like spilled his heart to Amanda and so tactically got shut down like he heard in the beginning of the movie, beginning of a podcast. But it kind of took that interaction to realize that, hey, what am I doing sitting here trying to call Barry Manilow about a dog? I should just go for it. Go for it, right?
Yeah.
That's the...
he went for it.
Yeah. But no, she was a complete bitch to hang up on him like that. Like, it's ridiculous.
So, I mean...
She can wait 10 minutes and then call a cab.
Yeah, I'm saying, like, I don't know how long a quarter lasts in 1998 on a payphone, but I can't imagine it would be more than a couple minutes.
You know what I would have done if I were him and she hung up on me? I would have ripped the phone out. Now there's no phone.
The cable?
No, there's no phone.
Yeah, the other two are broken. That's why she can't use it. Yeah. So... I don't know. I mean, I guess just to wrap up the movie in general, as we kind of wind the podcast down here, do you think that they belong together at the end? I mean, she helps him find out we talk about the hooker, the prostitute, the call girl.
Yeah.
No, the stripper helps him figure out, it is just got to go for it, like you said.
Yeah.
So he does go for it. She shuts him down, like you said, you heard in the beginning.
Harshly, too.
She winds up showing back up after she finds out that she shut down him looking at the yearbook.
I don't think we mentioned this yet in the case you haven't watched it, why haven't you watched it?
Yeah, you've seen this.
So his letter, like he ends up not giving the letter to her and he throws it away after he sees her like kissing the cousin, which we should talk about also.
Oh my God, we missed that part.
So he throws the letter in the trash thinking, oh, well, she's moved on. Like I have no shot. So the letter magically, like through, coincidence, gets back right in front of Amanda later on. She reads it, doesn't know who Preston is. That shows you how like insulated she was in the world. You don't know who Preston is, right? It's like it seems like everyone in the party knew who Preston was, but like they were like not that they were like best friends with him or anything like that, but he seemed like a a nice guy around school. Everybody knew him.
Well, that's that one girl let her have it for it. She's like, why would you know him? You don't know him,
right? It's like Preston was like an everyman kind of, kind of like just everybody likes Preston. So she didn't know who he was.
Yeah, that's why it's not going to work out. Like they don't know anything about each other.
So when she bitched him out, like she didn't know she was bitching out the guy who wrote this awesome letter to her, right?
Yeah.
So long story short, she figures it out. Way after the fact, she embarrassed him. Goes and meets him at the train station where he's leaving to go to school the next day, and they get together. Long story short, like he shares the day with her before he goes out.
I'm not thinking this lasts very long. Bad way.
You don't think it lasts very long?
No. They said it in the end, but I don't think it lasts very long.
I think her words to him still stand.
Which are, get yourself a goddamn life.
Yes, because he never knew her.
Yeah.
And he's writing this love stuff, which is worse than trying to get to do her at the party. Isn't it worse?
It kind of is. It's very stalkerish.
Oh, I love you, Amanda. Oh, man, ever since we first laid eyes and we were each had a Pop-Tart.
You know what that gets you, by the way? It gets you a restraining order.
It gets you a restraining order.
That's
exactly
what that
right.
Gets you. It gets you that. But you mentioned this earlier. What's up with this kissing cousin here? This dude who...
Let's get back to the important things.
Looked kind of weird. He had like a weird look to him.
He looked like I don't know, what do you call those?
He had a weird haircut. Talking about weird haircuts. Like he had a weirder haircut than the
He looked
other
like he was
girl.
from the 70s.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He had like a silk shirt going on.
Silk shirt. Total creep. Total creep.
Did he have the gold chain under there too?
Probably.
That guy, so they're cousins, like second cousins through marriage? Is that what it was?
They just said, we just know that they're cousins. So Amanda is like feeling down or whatever. She's at the party. She's not talking to anyone. So he comes up like, hey, Amanda, hey, cousin, what's up? And she's like, he's the shoulder to cry on, basically. He lets her all have it all out. She tells him everything. And then they get to this awkward pause and he just goes in. He goes in for the kiss, which I just can't blame him.
Right.
He went for it. Right? He went for it.
But let me ask you, like, is it acceptable? She says, you can't do this. You're my cousin. Like,
and
he says through marriage.
He says the key word, through marriage. So they're not like blood relatives.
But I guess the point would be, like, yes, legally, I don't know what the legality of it actually is.
Probably
I don't know.
legal.
Maybe.
Maybe. I don't know.
But if they had, so let's say maybe if they were friends and cousins since they were like two, then that's definitely not. Maybe it's weird.
If they were playing as kids and like grew up with
That's
a brother-sister dynamic and all of a sudden he lays a kiss on her after no other warning signs,
Right.
then yeah, it's freaking weird.
But he looked creepy as hell the
Yeah.
whole time. Like,
But
maybe he had this
When
creep
he
vibe.
says through marriage, it makes me think like maybe the parents are like divorced,
Yeah.
and then they got remarried, and then they like joined up. If they joined up as like teenagers, then it's like fair game, I feel.
Yeah.
Right? I totally think it's fair game. I'm not saying it's normal. I probably wouldn't go near there because it's just the awkwardness of the families, right?
The gray moral and legal
Yeah.
implications.
Like
of
imagine
this.
Thanksgiving where it's like,
you
you
got
know,
shut down.
right?
That's awkward.
It's kind of like the
weird.
Brady Bunch where like, you know, the oldest Brady and
Yeah.
the oldest like the from the girl and the boy, and they
But
get
they
together.
got married at an older age, right?
Yeah, man.
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
So, anyway, before we wrap up, we got some notes here from listeners as we put this out there on Twitter, Facebook. Email thelastropodcast@gmail.com, at thelastropod on Twitter. Want to go through a couple of these here real quick before we wrap up. The first one, by the way, says this one comes from Katie. It says, "This is a classic staple of my 90s childhood. How does this movie compare to other 90s films in your opinion? You guys touched on high school parties in other movies in one of your older episodes. Has your opinion changed of which the best party was? Where does this rank against other parties now that you've had a chance to look back on it?" I don't know. How I feel about it.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of the best, right? I mean, we went through this in another pod.
I think it was 10 Things I Hate About You.
Yeah, Bogey Lowenstein, obviously, killer party.
That was a great party.
Yeah.
That was a great party. American Pie. always
American
had
Pie, great party.
Yeah.
American Pie 2, great party.
American Pie 2, I think, is the best party. It's the
Yeah.
beach party.
Yeah.
That's the lake party. That's
Yes.
the best
Yeah,
one.
the beach house party.
But I thought this was a good party. Nobody got killed.
Yeah, it was a great party. I mean, it was PG-13 too, so it's
Yeah.
kind of like we didn't see everything, but it seemed like a good time. Graduation, everybody was getting along.
Yeah.
Even the geek was getting drunk. It's cool, right? Everybody's
People
having
were
a good time.
supportive of him.
Yeah. But as far as
So-
90s movies goes, I mean, this is right up there. Like I was within the first 10 minutes of watching this movie back, I was just right back to where I watched it the first time. And I was like, man, this is awesome. So many lines.
Yeah.
So many great lines. Mike Dexter had a lot of great lines. I don't know. Is it better than American Pie? Maybe, maybe not. Probably not.
I think American Pie is better only
Yeah.
because of like the sequels and stuff, but it's up there with it, I think. In a vacuum,
Yeah.
it's great.
Thinking She's All That.
That's a great movie.
Great movie. Not as good as this, probably, though. What else am I looking at? Just going through a list here real quick.
Super Bad.
Super Bad. Yeah, but I don't know.
This
I
is
feel like-
better.
I don't consider Super Bad like a high school movie, even though it's totally a high school movie.
It wasn't 90s either,
I don't know.
really. So
I don't know. Maybe because I knew that. I don't know. Who knows? Varsity Blues. This Varsity Blues is like right there with
It's
it
a great-
to me.
it's a great movie.
Yeah. Varsity Blues also had a great party.
yeah,
Um,
and a strip club too.
Dazed and Confused is also another great high school movie. It doesn't get a lot of love because it's a 70s movie,
Yeah,
but I think it's
up there.
up there.
I still think this is better.
Yeah, I'm going to call it second to American Pie as far as 90s teen movies. We'll call it second.
I definitely have to say, and people listen to this, American Pie is my number one teen comedy type movie. It came out at the perfect time for me.
Yeah.
And I love those.
I can agree. The longevity of the series, too.
Yeah. So we got two more here real quick. This one comes from Drew.
Did you write this question? Is it you?
How many Smash Mouth songs can you put in a movie without it being overkill? And is Smash Mouth a Monkees tribute band? Because it was driving me crazy.
Drew, pretty sure there's only one.
I feel like they're all Monkees covers. Like that's what they do.
Name me another Smash Mouth.
Can't get enough of
song
you, baby. It's not, but
that-
it sounds like it. It sounds like
It's
it, but
just
it's not. It just sounds like it, but it's not.
I'm a believer is the only one, Drew.
Yeah, but they must have played it like 100 times in this movie, like clips of it in this movie, or all of their songs sound exactly the same.
They only played I Can't Get Enough of You, Baby in this movie, Drew. I'm
See,
sorry to break it to you.
I gotta tell you what, I love 90s music. It's like, it's up there with the best. But I gotta tell you, I hate Smash Mouth so much.
Oh, they suck.
I
They're
can't
awful.
stand Smash Mouth. Worst band of the 90s.
They're awful.
Hot take,
Yeah.
worst band of the 90s.
I don't think it's a hot take. I think it's a
That's-
relatively
I don't know.
popular take that everyone hates Smash Mouth.
I feel like, they're like the Nickelback of the 90s. Like people just like, they're popular, but people hate them.
that's disrespectful to Nickelback. Right? Nickelback's not very good, but
I'm thinking about like that movie Rat Race too.
Yeah.
Like they were like in the movie.
oh my
Smash
God.
Mouth was in
Oh
the
my
movie.
God. Listen, when they made All Star, they like made a conscious decision. All right, we're gonna make a song. It's gonna make a lot of money, but everyone's gonna hate us because the
Yeah.
song sucks. But it sucks so good that it's gonna make money. Who likes that song?
They're going to be the people in like when you go watch Behind the Music and they have the band that's like 30 years later playing the song and it's like really sad.
They're going to be that's be walking on the sun.
Oh man. So we got another one too here. This one also comes from somebody named Drew.
Did you write this one too?
Have you ever used a service called Crackle before?
This is you.
I tried steaming this movie.
Steaming.
But it was only available on this shit service. Dude, can I say how awful Crackle is?
It was awful.
It is the worst.
It was the only service that was available for free, this movie. But when I knew that this movie was on Netflix forever, it was on for like a decade straight. This movie was on Netflix. And finally, we go to do this movie and it's not on Netflix anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, commercials on top of commercials. I was scrolling through the movies and like just like the options, like scrolling through the different releases. And it interrupted my scrolling to show me an ad.
For a show that they had.
No, just an ad for a freaking, I don't know, a lawnmower or something. I don't know. That ad was playing in the background, but when that ad ended, it stopped my search to show me an ad that I couldn't back out of.
I would pay for, again, I pay for Netflix. I don't care that it's free. It's garbage. Like, it was so annoying. Yeah. It was so annoying.
After watching this movie, I'm going to delete that app.
I got to tell you,
it's over.
I was so close to paying whatever it cost to rent this movie. Because, like, I started 15 minutes and I already had an ad, and I had like 3 ads, and I was like, oh my God, I can't take this.
Should have just made a trip to Walmart. It's probably the $1.99.
Yeah, and I should own this movie anyway, but I was home and I needed to watch it.
It was always on Netflix. Why buy it?
Yeah.
Now it's off of Netflix. Well, like, the crutch is gone. The crutch is gone.
Well, it's like when we said we were going to do this movie, I was like, oh, perfect. It's on Netflix, so everybody can watch it. So if you want to share our misery, go to Crackle, download it, watch 100 ads, and bear with us if you haven't seen this in a while. So, yeah, I mean, I think this pretty much wraps it up.
All right, we're out of time. Quick rating.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I would give it an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10?
Plus 1 for sex screen. So 9 out of 10?
9 out of 10 for sex screen. All right, I'm going to give it a solid 8.5 out of 10. An extra 0.8 points for Mike Dexter. So we're going to go 9.3. And it's all relative. It's a 9.3. Like, I don't know. There are Oscar-winning movies that I would not give a 9.3. But I could watch this movie, like, now. Like, I just watched it, like, I don't know, 4 hours ago.
It was so
I'll watch it again. I'll watch it again, if not for Crackle.
It was this, I'll watch it. It's Crackle be damned.
It's in the Hall of Fame of rewatchable movies.
Yes.
You can watch it again and again and again and not get tired of it because there's so much going on and there's no story. So it's like, it's fun.
I'm definitely giving it plus 0.6 for Mike Dexter. So what did I say? 8.6.
8.6.
Definitely 8.6 at least. You're right. This is in the Hall of Fame of rewatchable movies.
Minus 0.2 points for the geeks because I hate the geeks.
Yeah. So we got
not all geeks, just those geeks.
We got a couple emails, but we'll read them next week. We're kind of out of time tonight. If you haven't had the chance, leave us an iTunes review or Apple Podcasts, excuse me. We have 45. We're 5 away from the split. If you want to send us an email, we're gathering emails. We'll read them next week to you guys. Like I mentioned, thelastrowpodcast@gmail.com. On Twitter at thelastrowpod. Tweet us. Stay tuned for our next movie. We'll announce it in the coming week. We're also, I mentioned on Apple Podcasts, we're on Google Play Music. However you want to subscribe to us, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, whatever. Give us a shout out. And we'll see you guys, I think, in another week or so.
So what character are you in this?
I feel like I was probably too emo, so I might have been like Ethan Embry here.
Oh, you were Preston for sure.
Unfortunately,
it's funny that they're best friends because I'm probably Denise. I'm the antisocial bitch, you know. But I'm like, but I wasn't a dick though. I wasn't a dick, but I was like antisocial.
Did you bang Seth Green?
No, I did not bang Seth Green. The female equivalent of Seth Green. I am a